Hello everyone. In this video, we will discuss something about undergraduate research, about the options and opportunities available. Before we proceed further, I would like to introduce you to some of the luminaries in the field of medicine, which you already know. So he is Niels Stenson, who described the Stenson's duct, the parotid. We all know the islets of Langerhans of the pancreas, which were described by Paul Langerhans. And we have Petrus Camper, who, among many other things, described the Camper's facial angle, Camper's chiasma, and the Camper's fascia. And then we have our very own Dr. Manu Kothari, who has described the method for measuring fixed adduction deformity of the hip, which has been described in Hamilton Bailey's textbook of surgery. So, of importance and interest to note here is that all these contributions were done by these people when they were medical students. So, what I am trying to say over here is we do not need extensive and very high profile laboratories and a lot of funding to do research. Students can contribute in a major way to scientific research. We just need to have an inquisitive mind and our ability to pursue what we have in our mind. So with this background, let us discuss something about undergraduate research. As aptly said by Albert Georgi, research is essentially brains with which to think, eyes with which to see, machines with which to measure, and money. So here I'll try to give you a couple of hints on how to choose a research project. The most important thing is having a personal interest and curiosity in the topic which you want to pursue. Those who are gym enthusiasts and are into weight training can possibly try to work on whether a concentration curl is more effective way of developing a biceps or is it a hammer curl. Those of you interested in pranayam, yoga and similar things can objectively assess the effect of all these things on lung capacities. Those interested in anatomy can possibly study the variations in the palmaris longus tendon of the hand. So these are just general hints and sky is the limit. I am just trying to tell you that the possibilities are immense even for basic research which are involved with your subjects of the first year, second year and the third year. Then we need to look at topics that matter most at this particular moment. So we have to read literature. Now currently the hot topic is COVID. And you can work on any topic that fascinates you, interests you, which is related to COVID and for where research opportunities are available at your institute. Most of the time, undergraduate students are pursuing some short-term studentship programs of the ICMR. And they can have multiple interests. But here we have to choose a topic depending upon the duration and the time which we have in our hands. Some projects, some topics need a longer duration of follow-up and some have a shorter duration of follow-up. So depending upon the time in your hand, you can decide between your multiple interests, the topic of choice. For some projects, more finances are involved. You need to take blood samples, facilities for which may not be available at your hospital. You need to send them outside. That would take a lot of time and also more finances would be involved. So you need to think whether you have financial arrangements for this type of project to be pursued. And if not, you have to think of some other projects which is more comfortable, more convenient and possible at your setup. If you are thinking of studying some rare topics, you also need to understand that the sample size is going to be very less. It would take you a lot of time to have that sample size. And that may not be possible completed in your time frame. So you need to consider a research project considering all these points, all these variables, and these variables are different at different institutes, different for each individual. So a research project has to be decided based on your individual curiosity, interest, and of that of your institute. So before finalizing your research topic, you need to do a finer analysis. So for doing a finer analysis, you need to ask yourself these 5 questions. Whether my study is feasible. Feasible in terms of infrastructural requirements, in terms of finances, etc. Whether my study is interesting. Am I going to pursue it with interest? Is my study novel? Is there anything new in it? Or I am simply repeating what has been done a couple of years back? Most importantly, is my study ethical? Will it be approved by the institutional ethical committee? Are there any ethical issues which might crop up? Are there any animal studies involved which might need permissions? Am I going to get consents from the patients for this study? And finally, is my study relevant to the current times? Or am I pursuing something which is outdated and not relevant to the current times? So once we are sure of the finer analysis, we can be sure of our topic of study. Undergraduates tend to have a lesser exposure to clinical studies, patients as compared to postgraduates. They also have limited time frame of posting in various subjects like medicine, surgery, gynec. So understandably, the time frame for them to complete a study in a particular subject is less as compared to postgraduates who pursue the same subject for 3 consecutive years. So under these circumstances, CAP studies can be an interesting alternative for the undergraduates. So what essentially is a CAP survey? A CAP survey is a knowledge, attitude and practice based survey. These surveys are essentially good for undergraduates because you don't need to have a longer duration of follow-up. You can identify a set of patients and your survey objectives and complete the survey in the OPD, or you can identify post-operative patients, call them and also conduct the survey. The steps here are fairly straightforward. You identify or define your survey objectives, develop a protocol, design the questionnaire, which can be physical or these days on Google or SurveyMonkey, or there are alternative options. And then you conduct the survey, you conduct it in person or you conduct it online, then you analyze the data and then use the data. It is not necessary to conduct these studies only on patients. You can study it in medical students, in postgraduates, in doctors. So essentially you have to study the knowledge, attitude and practices of a certain parameter in these study groups. Just to give you an example, you can study the knowledge, attitude and practice based survey regarding the importance of hand washing in medical students. You can try and study the awareness of the specialty of hand surgery in the undergraduate students. You can try and study the awareness of organ donation amongst undergraduate students. And also try to know if they are aware that hand transplantation does exist. So those of you interested in pursuing research, I would definitely like to suggest you to pursue this aspect of research of KAP studies in your desired field of interest. I think most of the research projects for undergraduates can be completed with the available infrastructure and resources at their own parent institutes. But if you are looking for funding opportunities and opportunities for grants for your studies, I'll just enumerate a couple of things. There is the Indian Council of Medical Research, there is Department of Science and Technology, there is Council of Scientific and Industrial Research, then there is Department of Health Research, Department of Biotechnology, Biotechnology Industry Research Assisted Council, also called as BIRAC. BIRAC is essentially involved with biomedical engineering, developing of new instruments, and is generally collaboration of medical and engineering faculties and students. So details of funding opportunities are available on websites of all these institutes which are mentioned in this list. And finally, I would like to say that pursue research not only for the various advantages that it offers, but also because research is fun. And always remember, when you treat a patient, you treat one patient. When you do research, you treat 10,000 patients or even more. So wish you all the very best for your research activities. Thank you.